Hi, today I'm going to be talking about the reality of single use materials. In this presentation, we'll be going over why recycling isn't the answer for these, the problem with the terms biodegradable and compostable, and solutions for these materials. First of all, recycling isn't the answer for our single use consumption of mostly plastic, sometimes styrofoam, because a lot of these materials actually have recycling symbols on them, which means they technically can be recyclable. But that doesn't necessarily mean that they are being recycled. A lot of this has to do with that these materials can be very difficult to recycle. Either they're too small, or there's something like a Starbucks cup. A lot of those are paper on the outside that are coated in plastic on the inside, and you need a special machine that separates these two materials in order to be recycled. And there's actually only two machines that do this in the United States. According to Earth 911, less than 1% of coffee cups from coffee companies are actually getting recycled in house, and this is a big problem for us. Another reason why recycling isn't the answer for single use materials is because plastic bottle caps, food wrappers, grocery bags, straws, stirrers, takeaway lids, foam containers, all of these things were found by a study done by the University of Iowa to be some of the top contributors to pollution. And a big reason for this can be that these materials actually aren't accepted by very many municipal recycling programs, either because they're too small or they're flimsy like the plastic bags and can get stuck in machinery. Another reason why recycling isn't the answer for our single use products is because a lot of them are paper, which makes us feel like they're healthier, or that they can be recycled easier because they're paper. But actually, a lot of these, if they do get any type of grease or oil stains on them, this prevents the paper fibers from being unconnected during the recycling process. They won't stick together, and then the entire batch has to be thrown away, since they won't separate. And then also another thing to keep in mind for single-use materials and the reality of their end-of-life processes is the problems with the terms biodegradable and compostable. Biodegradable actually doesn't mean what most people think. It's not the same as compostable, and Oxford Dictionary actually only defines biodegradable as being able to break down with certain organisms. It doesn't necessarily mean that it even biodegrades in a landfill faster than its plastic counterpart, and biodegradable can mean pretty much whatever that company wants it to. Another term that people need to be wary of is compostable. This especially with any type of like paper, one use, tableware type of situations like a pizza box, again, or a Chipotle bowl. These are all sprayed with forever chemicals that can stay inside of your body and cause cancer and fertility issues called PFAs. And they're sprayed on these materials so that the grease and any liquids cannot soak through. And these materials will stay in your body forever. And not only do they leach onto the food when they're put in these containers, but once those materials are put into a compost pile to be used for fertilizer, they can actually be found in the foods that are grown with them. And so, what we can do about this is we can go back to our three foundational R's with sustainability, which is reuse, reduce, and recycle. Reuse what you have. If you have, try not to buy as many single use plastic items that you can. And you can also reduce your consumption of single use products. Try to buy in bulk if you can. Bring your reusable coffee cup. I know that you will have some. If you don't have any, they always have a million of them at thrift stores. I know that these are hard times with the pandemic going around and stuff, but before all of this, it was very easy to do all these things. And even though it might not be right now, I'm sure that this will come right back. And then we can all be using our reusables all the time again. And you also want to ensure that if you are coming in contact with those single-use materials and it's unpreventable, that you want to make sure that they get a responsible end-of-life process, whether that's finding a special plastic bag recycler or something along those lines. And that's all for today.